from the cloud. So if that's fine, I think I'll start from beginning. Okay, it's live now. Do you see it live now?
Yes, bro.
Okay. You also see the screen? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let's begin again. Um, Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 20. The rainy season and autumn in Vrindavana. Shri Sukha Uvacha Tayostadadbhutam karma davagnir gopastribhya samakshakshu pralamba vadam evacha. Shukadev Goswami said, to the ladies of Vrindavana, the cowherd boys then related in full detail Krishna's and Balaram's wonderful activities of delivering them from the forest fire and killing the demon Pralamba. गोपवृद्धाश्च गोप्याश्च तद् उपाकर्ण्य विस्मिताः मेनिरे देव प्रवरौ कृष्णरामो व्रजं गतौ. The elder cowherd men and ladies were amazed to hear this account, and they concluded that Krishna and Balram must be exalted demigods who have appeared in Vrindavana. Tata pravartata pravrit pravrit sarvasatva samudbhava vidyottamana paridhir vishpurjita nabhastala. Then the rainy season began, giving life and sustenance to all living beings. The sky began to rumble with thunder, and lightning flashed on the horizon. सान्द्रनीलाम्बुदैर्व्योमा सविद्युत् स्तनयितु स्तनयितुभिः sorry सान्द्रनीलाम्बुदैर्व्योमा सविद्युत् स्तनयित्नुभिः अपष्टज्योतिराच्छन्नं ब्रह्मेव सगुणं बभौ. The sky was then covered by dense blue clouds, accompanied by lightning and thunder. Thus, the sky and its natural illumination were covered in the same way that the spirit soul is covered by the three modes of material nature. अष्टौ मासान् निपीतं यद् भूम्यां चोदमयं वसु स्वगोभिर्मुक्तुम् आरेभ्ये पर्जन्यकाल आगते. With its rays, the sun had for 8 months drunk up the earth's wealth in form of water. Now that the proper time had arrived, the sun began releasing this accumulated wealth. तडिद्वन्तो महामेघाश्चण्डा श्वसनवेपिताः प्रीणनं जीवनं ह्यस्य मुमुचुः करुणा इव. Flashing with lightning, great clouds were shaken and swept about by fierce winds. Just like merciful persons, the clouds gave their lives for the pleasure of this world. तपः कृशा देवमीढा आसीद् वर्षीयसीमहि यतैव काम्यतपसस्तनु सम्प्राप्य तत्फलम्. The earth had been emaciated by the summer heat, but she became fully flourished again when moistened by the god of rain. Thus the earth was like a person whose body has been emaciated by austerities undergone for a material purpose, but who again becomes fully nourished when he achieves the fruit of those austerities. निशा मुखेषु खड्योतास् तमसा बान्धिनग्रहाः तथा पापेन पाषण्डा न हि वेदाः कलो युगे. In the evening twilight during the rainy season, the darkness allowed the glowworms, but not the stars to shine forth. Just as in the age of Kali, the predominance of sinful activities allow atheistic doctrines to overshadow the true knowledge of the Vedas. श्रुत्वा पर्जन्यनिदं निनदं मण्डूका ससृजः गिरः तूष्णीं सायानाः प्राज्ञयद्वद् ब्राह्मणा नियमात्यये. The frogs, who had all along been lying silent, suddenly began croaking when they heard the rumbling of the rain clouds, in the same way that Brahmana students who perform their morning duties in silence begin reciting their lessons when called by their teacher. आसन् उत्पतः गामिण्यः क्षुद्रनद्यो नु शुष्यतीः पुंसो यथा स्वतन्त्रस्य देहद्रविण सम्पदः. With the advent of rainy season, the insignificant streams which had become dry began to swell and then strayed from their proper courses, like the body, property, and money of a man controlled by the urges of his senses. हरिता हरिभिः सस्पेर् इन्द्रगोपैश्च लोहिता उच्छिलीन्द्रकृतच्छाया नृणां श्रीरिव भू अभूत्. The newly grown grass made the earth emerald green. The Indra Gopa insects added a reddish hue, and white mushrooms added further color and circles of shade. Thus, the earth appeared like a person who has suddenly become rich. क्षेत्राणि सस्य सम्पद्भिः कर्षकामान् मुदं ददुः मानीनाम् अनुतापं वै दैवादीनम् अजानताम्. With their wealth of grains, the fields gave joy to the farmers, but those fields created remorse in the hearts of those who were too proud to engage in farming and who failed to understand how everything is under the control of the Supreme. जलस्थलौकशः सर्वे नववारि निषेवया अभिभृ अभिभृन् रुचिरं रूपं यथा हरि निषेवया. All creature, as all creatures of the land and water took advantage of the newly fallen rain water, their forms became attractive and pleasing, just as a devotee becomes beautiful by engaging in the service of the Supreme Lord. शरद्भिर्सङ्गतः सिन्धुः चुक्षोभ स्वसनो मिमाम् अपक्व योगिनश्चित्तं कामाक्तं गुणयुग यथा. Where the rivers joined the ocean, it became agitated, its waves blown about by the wind, just as the mind of an immature yogi becomes agitated because he is still tainted by lust and attached to the objects of sense gratification. गिरयो वर्षधाराभिर्हन्यमाना न विव्यतुः अभिभूयमाना व्यसनैर्यथा यथा दोक्ष चेतसः. Just as the devotees whose minds are absorbed in the personality of Godhead remain peaceful even when attacked by all sorts of dangers, the mountains in the rainy season were not at all disturbed by the repeated strikings of the rain bearing clouds. मार्गा बभूवुः संदिग्धा तृणैश्चन्ना हि असंस्कृताः नाभ्यस्यमाना श्रुतयो द्विजय कालेन चाहताः. During the rainy seasons, the roads, not being cleansed, became covered with grass and debris and were thus difficult to make out. These roads were like religious scriptures that Brahmanas no longer study, and that thus they and thus become corrupted and covered over with the passage of time. लोकबन्धुषु मेघेषु विद्युतश्चल सौहृदा स्थैर्यं न चक्रुकामिन्य पुरुषेषु गुणिष्व इव. Though the clouds are the well wishing friends of all living beings, the lightning, flick in its affinities, moved from one group of clouds to another, like lusty women, unfaithful even to virtuous men. धनुर्वियति माहेन्द्रं निर्गुणं च गुणिनः अभ्यात् व्यक्ते गुणव्यतिकरे गुणवान् पुरुषो यथा. When the curved bow of Indra, the rainbow, appeared in the sky, which had the quality of thundering sound, it was unlike ordinary bows because it did not rest upon a string. Similarly, when the Supreme Lord appears in this world, which is the interaction of the material qualities, he is unlike ordinary persons because he remains free from all material qualities and independent of all material conditions. नरराजोद्भुत नरराजोडुपश्चन्न स्वज्योत्स्नाराजितैर्गणैः aham matya bhashitaya svabhasha purusho yatha. During the rainy season, the moon was prevented from appearing directly by the covering of the clouds, which were themselves illumined by the moon's rays. Similarly, the living being in material existence is prevented from appearing directly by the covering of the false ego, which is itself illumined by the consciousness of the pure soul. Megha gom Meg Megha Gamotsava Hrishta Pratyanandana Chik Chikandinaha Greshu Tapta Nirvana Yathachuta Janagame. The peacocks became festive and cried out a joyful greeting when they saw the clouds arrive, just as people distressed in household life feel pleasure when the pure devotees of infallible Supreme Lord visit them. पीत्वापः पादपाः पद्भिर् आसन्नानात्ममूर्तयः प्राक्षमस्तपसा श्रान्ता यथा कामानुसेवया. The trees had grown thin and dry, but after they drank the newly fallen rainwater through their feet, their various bodily features blossomed. Similarly, whose body has grown thin and weak from austerity again exhibits his healthy bodily features upon enjoying the material objects gained through that austerity. Sarah अशान्तरोधशो न्यूषुर् न्यूषुर् अङ्गापि सारसाः गृहेष्व अशान्तः कृत्येषु ग्राम्या इव दुराशया. The cranes continued dwelling on the shores of the lake, although the shores were agitated during the rainy season, just as materialistic persons with contaminated minds always remain at home, despite the many disturbances there. जलौघैर्निर्भिद्यन्त सेतवो वर्षतीश्वरे पाषाण्डिनाम् असद्वादैर्वेदमार्गाः कलौ यथा. When Indra sent forth his rains, the flood waters broke through the irrigation dikes in the agricultural fields, just as in the Kali Yuga, the atheist false theories break down the boundaries of Vedic injunctions. व्यमुञ्चन् वायुभिर्नुन्न भूतेभ्यश्चामृतगणाः यथा शिशो विस्पतयः काले काले द्विजेरिताः. The clouds, impelled by the winds, released their nectarian water for the benefit of all living beings, just as kings, instructed by their Brahmana priests, dispense charity to the citizens. एवं वनं तद् वर्षिष्ठम sorry, yeah, Varshishtam. Emam vanam tad Varshishtam Pakva Karjura Jambumat Gogopaler Vruto Rantum Sabalah Pravishad Dharihi. When the Vrindavana forest had thus become resplendent, filled with ripe dates and jambu fruits, Lord Krishna, surrounded by his cows and cowhead boyfriends, and accompanied by Sri Balaram, entered the forest to enjoy. धेनवो मन्दगामिन्या sorry, ऊधो भारेण भूयसा ययुर्भव भगवतु हूता धृतं धृतं प्रीत्या स्नुतस्तनः. The cows had to move slowly because of their weighty milk bags, but they quickly ran to the Supreme Personality of Godhead as soon as he called them, their affection for him causing their uddars to become wet. वनौकसा प्रमुदिता वनराजिर्मधुच्युतः जलधारा गिरेर्नादात् आसन्ना ददृशे गुहाः. The Lord saw the joyful aborigine girls of the forest, the trees dripping sweet sap, and the mountain waterfalls whose resounding indicated that there were caves nearby. क्वचित् वनस्पतिक्रोडे गुहायां चाभिवर्षति निर्विश्य भगवान् रेमे कन्दमूलफलासनः When it rained, the Lord would sometimes enter a cave or the hollow of a tree to play and to eat roots and fruits. दद्योदनं समानीतं शिलायां सलिलान्तिके सम्भोजनीयैर्बुभुजे गोपैर्सङ्कर्षणान्विताः. Lord Krishna would take his meal of boiled rice and yogurt sent from home in the company of Lord Sankarshana and the cowherd boys who regularly ate with him. They would all sit down to eat on a large stone near the water. साध्वलोपरि संविश्य चर्वतो मीलिते क्षणां तृप्तान् वृषान् वत्सर वत्सतरान् गाश्च सोदो भरश्रमाः प्रावृत्य श्रियं च तां वीक्ष्य सर्वकाला सुखावहां भगवान् पूजयां चक्रे आत्मशक्ति शक्ति उपबृंहिताम्. Lord Krishna watched the contented bulls, calves, and cows sitting on the green grass and grazing with closed eyes, and he saw that the cows were tired from the burden of their heavy milk bags. Thus, observing the beauty and opulence of Vrindavana's rainy season, a perennial source of great happiness, the Lord offered all respect to that season, which was expanded from his own internal potency. एवं निपशतोस्तस्मिन् रामकेशवयोर्व्रजे शरत् समभवद्व्यभ्रा स्वच्छाम्र अपरुषानिल्या. While Lord Rama and Lord Keshava were thus dwelling in Vrindavana, the fall season arrived when the sky is cloudless, the water clear, and wind gentle. शरदा नीरजोत्पत्त्या नीराणि प्रकृतिं ययुः भ्रष्टानाम् इव चेतांसि पुनर्योगा निषेवया. The autumn season, which regenerated the lotus flowers, also restored the various bodies of water to their original purity. Just as the process of devotional service purifies the mind of the fallen yogis when they return to it. व्योम्नो भ्रन्भूतशाभल्यं भुवः पङ्कम् अपाम्मलं शरद जहाराश्रमीणां कृष्णे भक्तिर्यथा शुभम्. Autumn cleared the sky of clouds. Let the animals get out of their crowded living conditions, cleaned the earth of its covering of mud, and purified the water of contamination. In the same way, that loving service rendered to Lord Krishna frees the members of the four spiritual orders from their respective troubles. सर्वस्वं जलदाहित्वा विरेजु शुभ्रवर्चसः यथा त्यक्तैशनाः शान्ता मुनयो मुक्तकिल्बिषाः. The clouds, having given up all they possessed, shone forth with purified effulgence, just like peaceful sages who have given up all material desires and are thus free of all sinful propensities. गिरयो मुमुचुस्तोयं त्वक्चिन्न मुमुचुः शिवं यथा ज्ञानामृतं काले ज्ञानिनो ददते न वा. During this season, the mountains sometimes release their pure water and sometimes did not, just as experts in transcendental science sometimes give the nectar of transcendental knowledge and sometimes do not. नैवाविदन् क्षीयमानं जलं गाधः जले चराः यथायुर् अहं क्षय्यं नरामूढा कुटुम्बिनः. The fish swimming in increasingly shallow water did not at all understand that the water was diminishing, just as foolish family men cannot see how the time they have left to live is diminishing with every passing day. गादवारी सरास गादवारी चरास्तापम अविन्दन् चरद अर्कजम यथा दरिद्रः कृपणः कुटुम्ब्या अभिजितेन्द्रियः. Just as a miserly, poverty stricken person overly absorbed in family life suffers because he cannot control his senses, the fish swimming in the shallow water had to suffer the heat of autumn sun. शनैः शनैर्जुहुः पङ्कं स्थलानि आमं च वीरुदः यथाहं ममतां धीरा शरीराद्विष अनात्मसु. Gradually, the different areas of land gave up their muddy conditions and the plants grew past their unripe stage. In the same way that sober sages give up egotism and possessiveness. These are based on things different from the real self, namely the material body and its byproducts. निश्चलाम्बुर् अभूत्तूष्णीं समुद्र शरद आगमे आत्मनि उपरते सम्यं मुनि व्यपरतागमः. With the arrival of autumn, the ocean and lakes became silent, their water still, just like a sage who has desisted from all material activities and given up his recitation of Vedic mantras. केदारेभ्यस्त्व अपगृह्णन् कर्षका दृढसेतुभिः यथा प्राणैस्रवच ज्ञानं तन्निरोधेन योगिनः. In the same way that the practitioners of yoga bring their senses under strict control to check their consciousness from flowing out through the agitated senses, the farmers erected strong mud banks to keep the water within their rice fields from draining out. शरद अर्कांशुजांस्तापन् तापान् भूतानाम् उडुपोहरत् देहाभिमानजम्बोद मुकुन्दो व्रजयोषिताम्. The autumn moon relieved all creatures of suffering caused by sun's rays, just as wisdom relieves a person of the misery caused by his identifying with his material body, and as Lord Mukunda relieves Vrindavana's ladies of the distress caused by their separation from him. खम् अशोभत निर्मेघं शरद विमलतारकं सत्त्वयुक्तं तथा चित्तं शब्द ब्रह्मार्थदर्शनम्. Free of clouds and filled with clearly visible stars, the autumn sky shone brilliantly, just like the spiritual consciousness of one who has directly experienced the power of the potent of the Vedic scriptures. अखण्डमण्डलो व्योम्नि रराजोडु गुणैः शशि यथा यदुपतिः कृष्णो वृष्णिचक्रावृतो भुवि. The full moon shone in the sky surrounded by stars, just as Sri Krishna, the lord of the Yadu dynasty, shone brilliantly on the earth surrounded by all the Vrishnis. आश्लिष्य समः शीतोष्णं प्रसूनावन मातुरं जनास्तापं गोप्यो न कृष्ण हृतचेतसः. Except for the gopis whose hearts had been stolen by Krishna, the people could forget their suffering by embracing the wind coming from the flower filled forest. This wind was neither hot nor cold. गावो मृगा खगा नार्यः पुष्पिण्य शरदा भवन् अन्वीयमानः स्ववृषैः फलैर्ईश क्रिया इव. By the influence of the autumn season, all the cows, doe, women, and female birds became fertile and were followed by their respective mates in search of sexual enjoyment, just as activities performed for service of the Supreme Lord are automatically followed by all beneficial results. उदहृष्यन् वारिजानि सूर्योत्थाने थाने कुमुद्विना राज्ञा तु निर्भया लोका यथा दिश्यून् विना नृप. O King Parikshit, when the autumn sun rose, all the lotus flowers blossomed happily, except the night blooming kumut. Just as in the presence of a strong ruler, everyone becomes fearless except the thieves. पुरग्रामेष्व आघ्रयन्नैर् इन्द्र इन्द्रियैश्च महोत्सवैः बभुः पवः पक्व सस्याध्या कलाभ्यां नितरां हरेः. In all the towns and villages, people held great festivals, performing the Vedic fire sacrifice for honoring and tasting the first grains of the newly harvest, along with similar celebrations that followed local custom and tradition. Thus, the earth, rich with newly grown grains and especially beautified by the presence of Krishna and Balaram, shown beautifully as an expansion of the Supreme Lord. Varnin Muni, Varnin, sorry, Varnin Muni Nripa Snata Nirgamyarthan Prapedire Varsharuddha Yatha Siddhaha Swa Pindan Kala Agate. The merchants, sages, kings, and brahmachari students kept in by the rain were at last free to go out and attain their desired objects, just as those who achieve perfection in this life can, when the proper time comes, leave the material body and attain their respective forms. Thus ends this chapter 20 from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Rainy Season and the Autumn in Vrindavana. Wow. We have come across so many, wow, what do you call this? What is this called? Metaphorical comparisons or metaphorical terms here. We can see every verse is given very, very clearly to understand, to get an understanding of what it is. In this way, one who advanced in spiritual subject, he can understand how is the material world. One who is having an idea of what is the material world can understand what it means, yeah, a glimpse of what it could be a spiritual world. So I encourage, yeah, if you get chance, please, yeah, not only now or today, yeah, make a note of this chapter 20, 10, 20. So, and always come back to this to understand how devotional life, how the presence of Krishna is so auspicious. I'll not go into all the details, except, I mean, there are few verses already, but I'll just straight away go to the last one. Um, the purport. Let me see. Verse number 49, right? Yes, 49. Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says the merchants, sages, kings, students who were confined to their rooms by the rain left when the rain stopped, Varsharuddha, and attained their desired goals, Artha, namely money, independence, power, and knowledge. These are Artha, the goals. What are they? Money, yeah, wealth, what we want, independence, we want freedom, and then power and knowledge. This resembles realized transcendentalist Siddha, who at the time of death attains forms, Pindan, like eternal associates of the Lord. So, um, here we can see, and Prabhupada purport is giving us similar what I just read. Srila Prabhupada comment, in Vrindavan, the autumn season was very beautiful then because of the presence of the personality of Godhead Krishna and Balram. Because Krishna and Balram were there, it was so nice. The mercantile community, the royal order, I mean, the kings and great sages were free to move to achieve their desired benediction. So we know how difficult it is when we do yatras during the rainy season. Yeah, it's very difficult. We never know, yeah, when Yamuna is overflowing, or and we don't know whether there is a path or not, whether there is a pit or not. Huh? It becomes completely difficult for navigating through the proper streets. What to talk about those days when everything was muddy, streets. Um, so when I was reading this, I was remembering the the episode in Ramayana where when Ram and Lakshman helped Sugriva to get back his kingdom and his wife Ruma. if I'm yes, yeah, correct. So then what happened? Sugriv was very happy. At the time, uh, Sugriv was ready. Yeah, that okay, let's go and now find your wife, Mother Sita. At that time, Ram says, no, 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 this is the Chaturmas time. This is a 4 months period where it will be quite heavily raining and the paths might have already broken. Everything is quite messed up. So let's not venture during this time because it's not favorable. So the Lord Himself was very tolerant. We can see Lord was tolerating that 4 months period. He didn't change. Yeah, He didn't change the, though He was all powerful. He didn't change the way the seasons, are running or mm, in a cyclic way. Seasons are changing. Yeah. Sitoshna, Sukha, Dukkada. Similarly, the Sita and Sukha, Sita Ushna, sorry, summer and rainy season or winter, summer and winter, they keep changing. So similarly, we can see here in this where Krishna didn't stop. He didn't say, "Hey, rain, stop." No, he allowed the rain, and in fact, the rain did help. In else some other place, we can read the importance of sun god. Here we could read the importance of rain god. In that, it is said that because, of course, we can see here what happens when rainy season. We know what happens is there's a lot of debris, hmm, all whatever is contaminated, everything. Of course, we can see the water is washing them out, but eventually there is so much, the water becomes muddy, yeah, because constantly there is rain. Yeah, so though and the levels of water is high. mm, and there are all these examples which are given, analogies which are given, and helps us to understand, to feel, correlate. But it is said that what happens eventually when there's so much water, we know this water becomes stagnant, and when wherever water becomes stagnant, all the fungal uh, mm, um worms or insects, they groom in such environment. And it is the time where people become sick because of the conditions, because of yeah. So on one side we are saying water is coming to clean away, but it also, it's not that everything is plain. It's like, okay, it's just like you have um, a proper inclination or angle so that the water can go. No, yeah, it's there are plateaus, there are plains, and all these things. Water gets stagnant, it gets polluted, and this is one thing. And during rainy season, we seldom see stars clearly because clouds cover. Even sometimes may not even see the moon. So all these things are there. And when there is no such mechanism where the sun can directly hit, it is said, as I said, na, Arka, the sun god is glorified in other part, where I have to recollect. There are few nice important chapters in Bhagavatam. One is the glories of Gangaji, the glories of sun god, the glories of rain god here. That the rain is helping. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, it is said that Surya Dev, he is sterilizing everything. Yeah, he's sterilizing when all these infections are spreading. And Surya Bhagavan is so special that he's not discriminating, but he's casting his all sterilizing rays on everyone, all roofs. Yeah, it's not like, okay, he's putting only on certain roofs. So there is so much glorification. Yeah, when we come across that chapter, we can read that. But here we can see the on one side, the rain god is helping, yeah, making sure that all whatever we need to eat, right, is all through water. It is that the fields become sumptuous, everything becomes rich. Yeah, yeah. Why? Because everyone, the water helps to uh, nourish even us. We can see if we don't drink water, then we start becoming weaker and weaker. On top of that, if the sun god, yeah, if it is sunny day, then it becomes even more challenging. So water is such a crucial resource. And then because of water, because of rains and all, everything was so nice. Yeah, I remember this when I was in Nasik. It was a rainy season. I still haven't seen, or not haven't seen. I have seen again second time again in Nasik only, when I was going from, yeah, when I was reaching Nasik, then I could see there is this nice Ghat section, and then there was very nice patch of green grass, and was not ordinary. There was also some very nice hue of sunlight falling on it, and was pretty extraordinary. Yeah. Yeah. So here we can see how the sun and rain god are favoring us, and in a way that whatever our needs are, they are fulfilled. And when Krishna and Balram comes out and to play, yeah, it is not that Krishna and Balram are playing only in the summer. Summer are extremely hot. Yeah, we see summer, yeah, is sometimes unbearable, and that's why one really waits for the sun to subside a bit, and when it becomes less hot, then kids start playing. um, so when Krishna Balram comes out, and it's a great pleasure festival celebration. This is the part of description for the sun, for the rainy season, and the autumn is a time of Paramahamsas. Yeah, this is after the 4 months break. We are talking about that season where everything is having its own time to, yes, um, recover from this heavy rains, and also some, yeah, just like sages, mm, they go back to their austerities. Yeah, of course, winter, rain is anyway austere, winter becomes also more austerious, but not as challenging as rainy season that they can't go anywhere. Just thinking, did I miss? Yeah, so as I said, let's make a bookmark of this chapter for recollecting. Make a habit of these analogies to keep us handy to appreciate the reality. Mm. Okay, thank you so much, and yeah, see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day of last day of Kartik Mas. So we are very. I was really anticipating that at least we cover this 20th chapter where it gives a glimpse of autumn in which we are right now. Then we come to Gopi's Glory, the song of Krishna's flute. Very nice to end this Kartik month with this chapter. Yeah, thank you very much for joining. Okay. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo नमः. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की